Hi, I'm Lenora.
I'm Kristen. Hello.
I'm Isabel. Hola.
Hi, my name is Lenora Faye. I am a child-free lifestyle advocate. I am one of the co-founders and moderators of the upcoming 2022 Virtual Child-Free Convention, which is streaming live on YouTube on Saturday, July 30th and Sunday, July 31st.
Hi, I am Kristen Tetzi. First, I want to say don't miss the convention. It's going to be fantastic. And there's just
Epic.
so much epic. And whatever word is better than epic.
Stupendous.
I'm not in it. Huh?
Stupendous. But you are in it. You're not in it, but you're behind the scenes.
I am somewhat behind the scenes, yes, in a very small way. So you can remember that when you think about how much you love it when you see it. I am also incidentally, or not incidentally, the author of the novel The Age of the Child, which has a brand new, beautiful cover, which you might see in the corner of the screen. And you can also find that beautiful new cover on Amazon and get the whole book for 99 cents on Kindle. In The Age of the Child, a desperately child-free woman has made an appointment for an abortion after Roe v. Wade has been overturned and not quite all the clinics have closed yet. There's one left. That's where she had her appointment. And on page 1, she arrives to find the doors have been chained. The last clinic is closed. And the story goes from there.
Hi, I'm Isabel, and I am participating in the Childfree Convention. So yes, please go there. Last year's was amazing. If you haven't watched it, I think you can still watch it on YouTube, right?
You can, yes. It's free to watch and free to participate as a live chat audience.
So just
remember,
go on YouTube, Childfree Convention, find the last year's panels. This year is going to be awesome too. I'm also the creator or the founder, the firebrand and founder of the Uprising Spark. I am the childfree friend you never thought you needed. So if you're having some fears, thoughts that are just a little bit icky, or you're feeling guilty about your choice, hit me up. Just, you can find me on Instagram or even through the Childfree Girls. I am also the host of the Unsupper podcast, and we are the 3 founding non-mothers of Childfree Girls.
Still non-mothers, yes. Last time we checked, yes.
Okay. Yes, last time I checked.
Okay.
Yeah, I think still childfree. Still check. It's actually good to check every once in a while.
It is.
You never know.
It's true. And speaking of being child-free and checking every once in a while, today's episode, we wanted to talk about if not wanting to grow up actually played some part in our decision to become child-free. So not wanting to grow up can mean many different things. So Lenora, what do you think?
Well, this to me is funny because I wanted to leave home at the age of 8 and I was born 30 years old, basically. So I never felt like a kid, when I was a child. I was an adult in a little body. That's what it felt like to me. And so I could not wait to grow up. But I did not want to grow up to be a parent, to have to be a parent, to have to be a mother specifically. So I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to grow up. I was ready to go to college by the time I was in middle school. It was great. I've enjoyed adulthood.
So what does growing up mean to you in that context?
It's autonomy, essentially. Being able to live on my own, being able to make all my decisions, like from financial perspective, what I want to do with my time, who I want to spend time with, not having to do what I don't want to do, which sounds very childish, actually, come to think of it. But it's autonomy. It's making my own choices with using my own reasonings, essentially. To me, I knew that grown-ups, had kids, but I didn't want to do that. But all the other things, like paying taxes, you want to grow up and do that. Okay, Kristen, right. Calm down.
So is it safe to say that you actually wanted to grow up quickly? Is not?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, because I don't know what it was, but you just sometimes you feel very you realize your limitations when you're little. And I very early on realized that, this is like with any kid, you have to learn how to speak, you have to learn how to do things. You're under someone else's control. Didn't like any of that. And I felt, obviously I would not have been ready to leave home at age 8, but my brain, there was something inside of me that was already 30 that was saying, hey, it's time to go. But I had to let the physical aspect of it catch up to it. Right. So
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I just felt trapped always.
I
And
think Kristen
then,
disagrees. I think she thinks that you were ready to leave home at 8.
well, no, I was,
Most
but I
likely.
wasn't. Like, what 8-year-old? Like, I wasn't working. I had to, I wasn't making money until I was 15 as a teacher. So, I couldn't actually go pay rent at the age of 8 myself.
8-year-olds find a way. They find a way.
Given the opportunity, I would have made it work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I left home at 18, so I suffered through that. But it's just knowing that there's more, and I couldn't wait to get there. And now that I'm here, I love it. Like, I like adulthood, because also I don't have to have kids like that. I don't understand why people think, I mean, I can understand because we see adults raising children. So of course, when you see it, that's what you expect. But if you think about it, you have the choice, right? And that's the beauty of adulthood, of growing up, is that you get to decide what's best for you. But so I don't understand where people really think, oh, you chose something that's good for you. Well, it doesn't involve kids, so that's not good for you. Therefore, you're not grown up enough because we don't like the choice you made. Like, that doesn't, come on. It's a choice. And especially when you stand up for it, that's a very adult thing to do. So
Yeah, we're going to
That's how I
circle
feel.
back to that because you said something that I think is very important. But first, Kristen, when you were a child, did you want to grow up? Did you not want to grow up? And what does growing up mean to you?
I did not want to grow up because when I thought of growing up, I thought of adults, and adults bored me, and I thought their lives sucked. I did want to move out of my parents' house and not be told what to do and not have any authority figures. And like Lenora, I felt, and I think a lot of people feel trapped living with their parents, or at least parents who actually have some kind of discipline and, make rules and stuff. I was very anti restrictions, so I definitely wanted to be out of that. But I didn't want, I don't know, adulthood just always seemed so beige, and so sad. So I didn't want to be an adult necessarily. I was very excited to move out, very excited to have my own apartment, paying for things I don't find very exciting, like bills I don't think are interesting. So that's kind of like a necessary evil of adulthood, I think. But the idea that having a child is synonymous with growing up has always been kind of interesting to me, because you can get pregnant as a female from the time you're menstruating, pretty much, if you are capable in that way. And I don't think the fact that semen is injected into you and a baby comes out makes you grown up. There are all different kinds of ways to grow up, and I don't think having children automatically does that. In fact, there are a lot of parents who are not grown up because you see them on social media and you're like, oh my God, you have children. One has nothing to do with the other. But no, I did not want
like
to.
that too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, God. Like, it's just astounding who's raising children or who's producing children and who's like leading nations. It's funny how the older you get, the truer or the clearer it becomes that there is no such thing as that adulthood that you envisioned as a child. Like, or at least not the one I envisioned. I envisioned like logic and reason and maturity and, level-headedness. No, like you either have that as a person, like even some teenagers will have that. Ian was a very, like, I respected the crap out of Ian even as a teenager because he has stupendously strong character, very understanding, very open-minded. He's just a good person. And he is also a good person now as an adult. And then there were shitty people I knew as a younger person who I'm sure are just as shitty today.
It seems more that way because of social media now.
I don't know.
I think because we see it more now. Maybe
I
when
think
we were
that's
a kid, we didn't see it as much as kids because we didn't have access to that many people. Now we do.
Well, I was out for a walk the other day and I met this guy named Larry because he was also on a walk, and he is 70 years old, I think. And he said that, and he doesn't go online, he doesn't do social media stuff. And he said that he doesn't know what the hell is happening. He thinks people are just insane. Like he says it has never been this bad. So I think it's compounded by the fact, like, it seems worse maybe because, I mean, it maybe seems worse than it actually is, or that it might have 25 years ago, because we can see more of it now. But I can't help think, like, just look around at the way people behave, and the like popularity of narcissism. I think it has gotten a little worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So taking, all these thoughts and feelings about adulthood when you were a child, did that play any part in your decision to not have children?
I think if I had any impression of, like, it when I thought, it must have, because when I was a little girl, I would play house with my friend. I only wanted to be the father. I never wanted to be the female, because that meant you're a mother, that meant you had kids. And I think it must have always just innately struck me as terribly not what I wanted, I guess. I'll just be nice about it, because I understand people look at that picture and they're like, God, all I ever wanted to do was be a mother. But for me, it was just the most boring thing imaginable, and I never wanted to do it, even in a game.
I remember when I was a kid, well, not that young, but when I was a teenager, I had a few friends who were like, "Oh, I can't wait to grow up and get married and have kids." And, the whole thing that is sort of like laid in front of us as this is the perfect life. And I remember thinking, I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to, like, I think, like Lenora said, I wanted to grow up because I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be autonomous. I wanted to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, without anyone questioning or asking, or, even having to ask permission for anything. And it's interesting because I grew up, like, in my house. My parents were pretty liberal. They let me go out and, like, party since I was like 15. So they're pretty chilled, I could go out, I could do things, I wasn't like bound. I wasn't like homebound, like some people who are just like, their parents are like, no, you can't go out. Yeah, I know Lenora was. Lenora was, Lenora wanted to escape. I wasn't. I had, my parents were pretty chilled in that way. But I remember feeling, especially with my dad, like, I've always had an issue with authority, just in general. I don't like being told what to do or when to do it or how to do it. I know that can be very problematic in certain areas of life, but I just wanted to get the fuck out of my house. And I remember when I was looking at colleges to go, like, my dad was like, no, you should just pick like a school here. I have pretty good schools in my hometown. You should just pick a school here. I'll just buy your car so you can go to university and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all I could think was like, oh, fuck no. I need to get away. I think I also needed to get away from my hometown. I think it was also about meeting other people, feeling that I was living in a bubble in a way. Because I grew up, like I said, my parents were very open-minded and like chilled, but still, like, the circle, like, for friends and family of people, it was all very sheltered and very close. I felt like I was living in a bubble. So I just wanted to, like, learn more, know more. I've always been very curious about the world. So I picked a major that was not available in any university here. I had to actually went to study in Bogota because I was like, I'm not sorry. I think that was the only reason why I picked that major, to be honest.
You sneaky.
I think that's smart. It's smart.
It's smart, sure.
I was like, what do I need to do? I wasn't even, like set on something specific. I was just like, I need to just get the fuck away from here. So I picked something that you could major in any of the universities here. And that was how I got out. Like this was a prison or something. But yeah, and I've always felt like a child at heart, at the same time. It's strange because it's like I really wanted to have that independence and like, don't tell me what to do. And since I started working when I was 23. So since then, I've been completely financially independent. So I can do whatever the fuck I want. But at the same time, I still have this inner child. I'm not saying I'm immature. I'm just saying that I I sort of like enjoy to be silly and do things that are maybe childish, some adults might think are childish. And I don't think that influenced my decision in any way. I mean, I do remember thinking my friends are stupid because they want to grow up to have babies. I do remember thinking, like, why would you want to grow up to like tie yourself again to another human being? I just wanted to like cut loose from my parents and be like, bye, I'm free. And then this happened.
It makes me wonder, do people not watch what parenthood is? Like, did you not look at your parent? And I'm not saying that you had to have miserable homes. Like, my parents set a really good example for a partnership and a marriage, but I watched how dedicated my mom was. And I'm not, and to me, I was like, I already knew I didn't want to do that because that's a lot. That's like all of your energy. She poured everything into that and her marriage. And to those people that had a chaotic home or toxic home who still have kids, and I'm not, I mean, whatever reasons for having kids, fine. But do people not look at what growing up and having kids, what does that mean, having kids? Like Elon Musk was on Twitter saying, we need to celebrate more people having kids. And I was like, he says having kids, it's different from raising kids. Like there's distinction here, and a lot of people think, oh, let's have kids. And my brother likes to remind me, it's not about having them, it's about raising them and what that does to everybody around you and you yourself, like, do people not look at that part of it?
Well, I think because everyone's experience is different. Like everyone, I mean, you have your own experience growing up in your family. I have my own at Kristen, and I'm sure that each one of our experiences is different from the other.
Oh yeah.
In my case, for example, my mom, she worked. She had been working since she was like 18. My dad also worked. So I saw like this two people who were together and they were working. And so if mom or dad weren't there, like we had nannies and we had people helping at home. We had help all my life. So I'm not saying I was raised by a nanny because that's not true. But there's also this thing about the Latino community that, it takes a village. Like here, people actually do, like they actually think it does take a village. I did spend a lot of time with my grandmother and my aunts and cousins when I was growing up, especially with my mom. My mom, she was working and like I was on vacation or whatever, like she would just drop me at my grandma's. So I think it's very community sort of focused in a way. I mean, I think parenting, of course, it's going to be different for every parent or for every person who grows up with parents or one parent, whatever the case is. So I guess some of my friends might have romanticized motherhood because of the way they were raised, probably. In my case, I was definitely not. Like my mom was not that mother, she wasn't the mother who would bake cookies. She wasn't the mother who would, I don't know, just brush my hair and put bows on my hair. Like she wasn't that mom. She was nurturing in different ways, but not that way, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. My mom was that, what you just described, that was my mother. I you know what, it's really funny because when my nephews are here, I am so my mom. Like I'm cooking, I'm not putting bows in their hair, although the oldest nephew might be okay with that now, but like I am so invested in my time with them because I like aunthood, I really do. And I feel so much like my mom when I'm in that role. And that also, I also know that there's no way in hell do I want to do that 7 days a week, like for 18 years. No way. I can do it sporadically. And I don't want it any more than that. But and even knowing that you have options, you can have help. I think that village aspect of it, because I like my solitude. And when you were talking, I was thinking that probably plays a part into why I also don't have kids, is because it does take a village and there's going to be people around and think of it. All of us like our solitude. Can you imagine? We have kids, there's play dates, there's all these things, there's other kids in your house. Like Kristen's face is already falling off just listening to me talk. Like, can you imagine? Like there are people around you constantly.
Yeah.
And you have listen to my brother talk about, how he has to deal with the other parents of his kids' friends, which does not sound fun. that whole village, well, it's nice if you like your solitude. That sounds exhausting.
There's something to like why, if you ask why growing up and having kids are thought by so many to be synonymous, I wonder if the same people who say, like the ones who talk about having kids being a sacrifice and just making the sacrifice of parenthood, period. And then the kind of side by side accusation that if you don't have kids, you don't want to grow up. And those things, if you take parenthood as a sacrifice, it doesn't sound like fun. It doesn't sound like someone made that choice because they plan to enjoy it, like, because they wouldn't use that word in that way. So I think to a lot of people, then growing up means being unhappy, like stopping having fun, and devoting the rest of your life to misery and suffering, really, or to not having fun at least. And so I don't understand why growing up has to be synonymous with no longer having fun, no longer enjoying yourself, no longer being spontaneous or doing things you like.
Until retirement. Have you noticed that? I mean, I don't know if it rings true to our generation now, but our parents and our grandparents, for sure, it was like, there's going to be a lot of hardship ahead, and then you retire. And then you have fun, and then you get back into,
like
that's what I heard.
Yeah, like retiring is the price. That's the price.
Yeah.
After all the suffering in your life, you get to retire.
You get to retire.
Life.
Yeah.
At 64, 65 or whatever. Yeah.
My dad just hit that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if that's even valid for our generation, like the ones that are even having kids, because who can plan for retirement these days? Like, but
you just made me think of something I read yesterday. Apparently the funds for retirement in the States are going to run out by 2033. So basically millennials are not going to have a retirement fund in the States. So,
like Social Security.
Yeah, Social Security. So not private ones, but the Social Security ones. So basically, it was a tweet of somebody saying, like, the generation that says that millennials don't like to work are the last generation who are actually going to have this benefit, because millennials are actually working, having to pay some of their money into that fund. Yeah, so I think retiring for our generation might mean a different thing. I guess you have to like plan more for it now, because I mean, this is happening everywhere around the world.
Well, and also to that point, old age, like, we get that bingo all the time. Who's going to look after you? People are looking at old age as what currently exists. But think about, technology, healthcare, all that sort of thing, assuming that things progress. Our old age experience is not going to be the old age that we're seeing now or what we've seen in the past, because life is so vastly different. It's not that, some of us are going to get sick. There are going to be, issues, that type of thing. But how everyone's been kind of like shoved off to the side at a certain point. But to me, I can't see old age being identical to what it is now in 40, 50 years. It just doesn't make any sense. But people are stuck in that, when I get old, it's going to look like this, because that's what it's always looked like. But I don't actually know a lot of people that are, like, personally, who are living that way. They're pretty vibrant in their older age and living still in their house, but people don't seem to realize that, things evolve, including, like, we're all almost 40 and over. And did you guys see that? So there was a social media post of what 40 years old people in their 40s look like 30, 40 years ago. We don't look like that at all. Like,
unsettling.
Right? Yeah. Even with lighting. I mean, we don't look like that. So.
Yeah, because like, remember, people like the life expectancy was a lot lower too.
Right.
So people died younger. So at 40, they were really old. I mean,
I mean, the life expectancy hasn't changed that much in like 40 years. I mean, when my grandmother was, 40, she looked like a grandma,
No, mine too. No, mine too. But do remember, I think it's because the one or two generations before them, they did die very young, I guess.
Mm.
I remember thinking my grandmother lived, she, ever since I was born, she looked like a grandmother, like she was
Yes.
old the
Yeah.
whole time. And she died 2 years ago. So I was 37 when she passed away. And she looked old for 37 years of my life. She was an old woman.
Mhm.
Weird.
I
Yeah.
know. But you know, this reminded me that the subject that I wanted to circle back to, and is, you know, you have to grow up, you have to not only look old, you have to also have kids. Like, it doesn't matter how old you look, if you don't have kids, it's like you haven't grown up
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and matured. That's the one thing that I'm really like about is what is it about growing up and being mature? First of all, there's no correlation at all. And also growing up, having children, and then maturing. Like, why do you think people relate having children with being mature and not having children with being immature? Doesn't matter how old you are.
It's because no one's questioned it. It's just been accepted and passed on. Like, this is what you do. And this means you're mature now or you're grown up. It reminds me of this commercial there on the Discovery app. There's this show. I think it's called Unexpected, or maybe it's called something else. I don't know. But it's this obviously very, very young couple. And they're like talking just about how hard it is to raise a kid. And he's a teen dad, if not maximum, he's gonna be max 20 years old. And he's sitting on the bed. He's like, I thought it was gonna be easier having kids, but it's not. And I just looked at him. I'm like, oh, buddy. Like, you know, again, I just think that people have not been honest enough about parenthood and the fact that you actually, there's elements where you probably do grow up, but if you tried, you could grow up without having kids. Like, I mean, you could mature and you could, you know,
You can make an effort.
I'm still working on it.
You can make an effort and you will grow up.
It's like, it's the same thing when people say, oh, having kids made me a better person. Like, dude, if you wanted to be a better person, you wouldn't have needed to have kids to do so, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that those people who say they became better people by having kids are better people. I don't really, you know.
Well, I think because kids are a 24/7 responsibility, that's automatically equated to
Mhm.
maturing you and making you grow up. But
Aging and maturing are different things.
I know,
think
I
it
know.
ages you more,
Yeah.
possibly.
This brings me back to the conversation we had recently about settling down.
Hmm.
But this is the thing, people assume that just because you have kids, that means you're going to be a responsible human being. You know, like people
Right.
assume that you have a child and you're like, oh shit, now I need to take care of this other human being. Therefore, I'm going to stop drinking, stop partying, get a job, you know, do a 9 to 5, save up for college, and, you know, yada, 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 everything else that parents normally do. People assume that that happens to everyone. It's not the case.
Also, people sometimes cannot have children. Just saying, like they can't have them. They can't adopt them for whatever reason. I don't know what the process is to adopt, but I'm sure it's very expensive and lots of stuff is involved because people care about where those kids end up, as opposed to the ones that just pop out willy-nilly. So for those people who cannot have kids, what those people are saying, if they say that you're not grown up without kids, is that people who cannot have children will be perpetually immature.
But they also then will go, well, we weren't referring to those people because they have an excuse.
Oh, so it's not kids that make you grow up, it's the desire to have kids.
It's the choice that you're making. It's the choice that you're making. If you're not making the correct choice, then you are wrong.
Yeah, because it's like you're choosing to have children. It's also choosing to become responsible.
Yeah, and if you can't have children, well, at least you tried. Therefore, you are showing maturity. You're showing that you are grown up, even if your choice did not result in a child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's why there's, I mean, the stereotypes that Childfree people we're all party goers, and we
Mhm.
like
We have
go to
orgies.
orgies, and we have sex with everyone, and we like sneak
Really?
peek every single day. Like those.
Did you
those
not see
things-
that? Oh no, that was something. Never mind.
those
Yeah.
things,
I missed the whole orgy boat. Shit.
It's not too late, Kristen. It's not too late. I'll send you an
Yeah.
invite. Check your
Oh,
email.
I saw something the other day. We're festival goers. You're always at music festivals and.
Yeah.
I have not been to a single concert in my entire life.
Oh, okay. This is the thing.
I'm just saying.
Festivals means you're doing drugs. It means you're fucking everyone, every single stranger that walks past you. Like that whole idea.
I know parents that do that, and even if that, and if that's what you do, fine. Like it's your life.
Yeah, it sounds fun, really.
It's the thing. There's no correlation between
No.
being child-free or having children and doing all of that. There's absolutely none. Yet it is the stereotype. It's like, oh, you don't want to have kids because you want to keep doing this freely. You want to whore out. That's another thing I've heard. You don't want to have children because you're a slut.
Oh, that
Which is like,
yeah, that is that assumption.
Dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
Why?
Let's just say someone does say you don't want to have kids because you want to keep having fun. First of all, you don't think kids are fun, so why you would have them, I do not know.
Mhm.
Second, so what? Why would we not want to? Who would not want to keep having fun? In fact, anybody who has kids, I hope they're doing it because they want to continue to have fun, and kids are fun to them. You get to live once as far as you're cognizant of in that life. So why not have fun for as long and as much as you can?
It's because then you're viewed as not grown up. I mean, it
I don't-
just comes back in this stupid circle
Yeah.
of like, you have to
Because
live a
being grown
certain
up is
way.
not fun.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is why you didn't want to grow up, Kristen, is because it looked dull and beige. Because a lot people make it dull and beige. I mean,
Yeah.
look, even if you have the perfect life that's for you, every moment is not fun. There's a lot of mundane moments. Like, okay, you know what's fun for me right now? Last night, I was in my room, lying on the bed, just looking at the ceiling. I had the TV going, the laundry was going. And I was just like, oh God, this is just like so heavenly for me. I have this entire place to myself. I don't have to share with anybody. I don't have to do anything. And I was just like, I'm so glad I got through my teen years because this is just fun. And I was lying on my bed looking at the ceiling.
So you're just laying there being happy, like
I was
some
like,
heathen.
you're being happy I was doing laundry. I was like straddled in the adult world of chores and in my fantasy as a child going, I get to live alone. I don't have a boss. Like I'm just here and just doing what I want to do. And it's just nice. Like I was in that. Plus I was like, here's the to-do list because you're the boss. Here's all the things you have to do. So it's a balance, right? But and I had that moment last night. It was just lovely. I'm like, can I just enjoy this for a minute? Just, because not all moments are blissful, regardless of what choices you make,
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. Sometimes I wake up on a Saturday or Sunday and I'm like, I need to go to Home Depot for whatever reason. Well, not Home Depot, the equivalent here.
so you guys have Home Depot there? Okay,
I know, I was thinking that too. Well.
The equivalent of Home Depot. And I'm just like, and I wake up 10 in the morning and I'm like, do I go? Do I have to? And then it's just like, oh, I'm an adult now. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I usually don't go. Just end up ordering stuff. But then I love that about being an adult. That's
Yeah.
the thing, right? Like I love that
Yeah.
I have the choice and I don't have to get up because nobody else depends on me to be able to breathe and
Mhm.
feed themselves.
It's funny because I'm trying to revive a plant right now. It's like some kind of succulent. And every morning, the first thing I have to remind myself is to go water and make sure the root's starting to grow. Because I don't want it to die because I want to repot it, but it's like dying. And I'm like, God, it's a good thing.
You're watering it every single day.
Yeah, don't water it every day.
Well, no,
leave
but
it
it'll
alone.
wilt though. No, because it's not in a pot. There's no soil. You're just like letting it be.
No, just put it on sale. Let it be. Don't
Well,
even look at it.
But what
you
if
know?
I tried that
Don't
once
even look
before
at
and it died?
Honestly, like I have succulents and I never look at them, and they're
Okay.
like alive and thriving.
They are
and
hypersensitive.
So I am trying,
Don't even like.
but wait, I'm in a Canadian climate though.
I know.
I'm in a very different climate. Does that make a difference?
No, because the thing is, succulents
Okay.
don't like water. See, they don't like water at all. They come from
Maybe
the
like a
desert.
mist.
They're like
I
they're
have
like cacti.
Yeah.
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a jade and I'll water it. And my climate's a lot
This
like
is
yours.
not, sorry, audience. This is not what I brought this. I was making a point with this. The point I was making is I was actually trying to revive something. And my thought was like, I'm glad I don't have to do this every day. Like, I don't have to deal with a pet. I don't have to deal with kids because, you know, I take care of myself quite well, but I don't want to have to think about something else. The
Yeah.
first thing.
And if
I
you
wake
had
up-
had a kid, we would have all kinds of advice for how to fix your kid too.
Yeah.
If we all had kids.
Don't overfeed it. It's fine. Just
Don't
look
even
at
look at it.
Don't look at it.
Leave it alone.
It'll be
It'll
fine.
be fine.
This is being a drama queen. Don't.
Okay, I will leave my plant alone then. Fine. Thanks. The other was like, what are they talking about now?
Is there anything that any of you would like to add to this episode before we close?
Oh, I think we've covered this before in a different episode, but not everyone who's listening or watching now has seen all of our episodes. And there is an element of growing up, I think, that comes with having kids that is unavoidable if you're actually taking care of those kids. And that's that you have this daily reminder that this person is a child, you are the adult. And so there is that sort of grown-up quality that you have to take on because you are the responsible one for this small person. And I think it's even different from caretaking for like a parent who's sick or old or something, because you're still their kid, you're just helping them along. But as the adult with a child, like you're an adult in a whole other way than just paying rent and getting to do what you want. And that's that, I think it's that constant discrepancy or difference between the ages that can make you feel older in addition to actually being older. And I don't want that either. Like that's part of it, a kind of adulthood that I was never interested in experiencing.
And on that note, thank you so much for sticking around with us. This is all for today's episode. If you want to visit our website, it's childfreegirls.com as always, and you can send us an email, childfreegirls@gmail.com, with any question, comment, anything you want us to know. Please don't send attachments. We don't open attachments, but anything else, we're very open to it. And speaking of emails, if there is something that you would like some input on, not necessarily advice, just sort of like opinions, input, feedback. We have this column, I would say, like a blog section called Dear Childfree Girls. So you can send us an email. Please put Dear Childfree Girls so we know that this is something that you want all of us to actually answer. And you can be anonymous if you want us, because we actually post this in our blog and we post it on social media. So if you want it to be anonymous, make sure that you want it to be anonymous. And if not, we'll just use the name that you put in your email.
If you do want advice on how to revive plants, maybe ask Kristen or Isabel and not me, because I might not be the first choice, best choice. Anyway, we are all over social media at Childfree Girls on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are on Amazon. Our book, Childfree Girls Comfort Food for Thought, is available in paperback and on Kindle. And that's about it. Yeah.
And the question for this episode for you to answer either in an email or down there in the comments is, are you grown up? And if so, how do you know?
Ooh. Did we didn't even answer that question.
I think we did.
But that's good. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can do it though, and then we can get our knowledge from them.
Gotcha. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and 5-star reviews are now available on Spotify and Apple Podcast if you're listening there.
I'm sure Lenora means up to 5 stars. You're free to write in whatever star you want.
We happily accept 5-star reviews.
Don't forget to tune in a couple of weeks for our newest episode.
Bye.
Bye.